Championship Start System. It's capable of driving up to 12 speakers underneath each one of the starting blocks. I just want to cover the physical aspects, and then we'll go through some of the functionality. On the side here, we have a speaker that its use is to amplify the starter's voice so that they can hear themselves speak in a loud, noisy environment. It is not used to project the start tone for the start of the race. That comes from the speakers underneath the block. We also have an external power supply that charges the two 24-volt batteries inside of here. We have the on-off switch, and up top we have an on-off switch for the strobe light. We do have an amber strobe that's under the housing here that will flash with the start tone. If that ever doesn't work, go ahead and just flip that switch on. On the front, we have two different microphone inputs, and we have an auxiliary speaker volume. These dials for the microphones are not volume, they're sensitivity. So depending on who we have speaking, whether they have a loud boomy voice or a soft voice, and how far they hold the microphone away from their mouth is going to depend on where you set that sensitivity. In order to get this thing to work properly without squealing at you, we always start with the volume down. I turn it up about a quarter way, and then I'll start with the sensitivity all the way down, and I'll start moving it up. Check, 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 check. There I can hear my voice, so we'll turn the speaker up a little bit. Check, 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 check. And that's really all the louder that I need it. I'll be able to hear myself when we get to the 50-meter freestyle and everybody's screaming. We do have two different microphone inputs, so if we have two people that are alternating, we don't have to do those individual adjustments in between each person speaking. On this side of the Champ Start, we have our main wall plate or deck plate connection. This has within it all of these functions. So speed light, speaker, timer start, and strobe. This is connected to the system right now, so I don't want to disconnect it, but there's a collar that you can see right here. Just turn that until it disengages and then pull the cable out. Same thing in reverse order. Plug the cable in, turn it till it clicks in place to make sure that it's secure. One thing that I do want to cover, we have these little lids that keep rainwater and stuff out of that connection. Every once in a while, if we have somebody plugging in a microphone that's not quite sure of how far it goes in to get seated, if they take and they plug that in, and it feels like it's in all the way. Once we turn the start system on, it's gonna give you a start tone, it's gonna start the timer, and then about every 5 seconds, it's gonna start. And it's just because there's a potential in there that's building up a capacitor that's charging until it gets full, and then it'll start the system. So to prohibit that from happening, just push the microphone connection all the way in, and that will stop happening. All right, to operate the start system, remove the microphone, depress the side switch, and speak instructions into the microphone. Swimmers, take your mark. While that is depressed, press the red button on the top, and the start tone will go off, the timer will start, and the race will be going. If we hit it again, we'll get recall to bring the swimmers back. We have one other connection, whether it be on a wall plate or a deck plate on the serial side of things, and that's down below here. Again, this is connected to the system right now, so I'm not going to actually remove it. But on the inside of this connection, there's black plastic or green plastic that denotes that it's a start node, and here on the cable, there's green paint to denote that this is a start from the start system connection. It just unscrews and comes out. It is keyed specifically for this deck plate. You cannot plug this into any one of our other Gen 7 nodes, that being a scoreboard node, a T1 node, or a bulkhead node. They're all keyed independently of each other. They will only fit into their corresponding slot. So one thing that's worth noting with the Gen 7 system, before we turn on the timer, we need to have all of our devices connected that are intelligent. So all the deck plates, bulkheads, start nodes need to be connected before we power up the timer, because when the timer powers up, it goes through a set of checks and balances, looks out to see who's there, make sure everybody's in good health, and then allows us to select those different components depending on what course we're selecting. There is a cap that can be put on when it's not in use to keep the water out of it. That does just screw into place. There is a slot in this. Sometimes those will get stuck. The lip on the edge of the connector that goes into the ground, you can pop that in here and use it as a lever to get it unscrewed.